Good evening. So, we're in a little different space, so we're gonna have to adapt our format a little bit. And I'll be probably doing more presenting today, and I'll just have a couple of discussions that, questions I want you all to lift up, I want you all to think about. But before we get started, I want to really start with what did we remember, and because really this is the foundation. We have to get this in order to really understand how things relate once we get to the Greek scriptures or the New Testament. So I want to kind of hear some thoughts from you all on what is clear, what do you have, what are you struggling with, and we're going to take what we talked about last week, and we're going to take the next component of it, which is very important as well, but we have to get the first component. So let's start off with, what are you clear about? If anything, are you clear about anything that we've talked about thus far? What do we know so far? Diving into this religion of Jesus, what do we know? Okay, so vibration is a sound, and the sound causes form, creation. Okay, so the vibration leads to creation. Good. Okay, that's very important. Anything else that we know, that we're confident about, that we're sure about?
I was just amazed when I was seeing this. I found a video, a piece of a certain vibration across the exact formation of planets.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it kind of blew me away. It's like you never connect the Big Bang with God, and now we need to do that. So even with my daughter McKenna, who's very, she questions everything. I think it's just being young, youthful. I said, see, I want you to watch this. And she said, oh, like I could see that the dots connecting and that it was a possibility.
Yeah. The micro and the macro. Yeah.
It's reversed. It's really amazing.
Any other?
That God creates, but other sounds, other voices reforms.
Good. Okay. Good. That's important, right? So we have that struggle, the constant struggle of life. Of the whole scriptures come down to, there's the vibration and that creates, and there are other vibrations which reshape and reform. And the constant battle is, will we align with the vibration or the vibrations? Will we be created or will we be reformed, reshaped? Okay, good. What else? Anything else?
Nothing else was starting to turn. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but vibration is actually a physical touch.
Yeah.
I know you don't think the waves as touching you, but it's just as much as me touching my skin.
That's
It's
right.
the same thing.
It's actually
It's actually
feel it.
really
Yeah.
feeling it. I never put that together. The power of that.
The power.
It's much more powerful.
Yeah. The power of feeling the vibration. Good. So let's talk about, what are we unclear about based on what we were trying to learn last week. What is there anything that we're not clear about right now at this point?
I think it became more clear to me Sunday when you explained it about the creation and the reformation and all that.
Okay.
The way you explained it Sunday was a little more clear
Okay.
than last Tuesday night, because Tuesday night it just seemed like it was going over my head.
Okay.
So, I think Sunday you put it more in layman's terms.
Okay.
So, I
It's-
think Tuesday you were using us as we were scholars. So,
or maybe it just sunk in once you heard it the second time.
Right.
So we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to go a little bit deeper today. But hopefully, now that you have a foundation, you should be able to make the connection. And like I said, this is going to be a template for literally everything you see in scriptures can be related back to this template. And when you see this, you're going to understand really the rhythm in which Jesus lived his life. Because that's what we set the foundation for. What is the rhythm in which Jesus actually lived his life? That's what we're really setting up.
Madam Weaver,
Mhm.
you said last week that it can't be captured, and I'm still not,
Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. That's for this lesson.
okay.
So, we'll talk about that. So that's actually right. But before we talk about the fact that it can be captured, we have to understand what the vibration is and what it does. So, great.
Oh, and one more good point that you brought out last week,
Uh-huh.
that the sound comes from the south.
Yes, and that's really what we're gonna flesh out today. Everything about the sound and the connection between sound and silence. So let's see how far we get. We can go as slow. We can go as you want. We can go. We don't have to, so we can really go at your own pace. It's so important that you get this. So I'm gonna go. We're just gonna go at our own pace. Okay. From whence comes my help? We're going to be talking about sound and the connection between the vibration and sound. So I think this is from the Psalms. Where does the vibration come from? We're going to touch on that today and hopefully highlight that. I want to start with this quote from a well-known rabbi. And I know you can't see the front, so I'll read it. I will teach you the best way to say Torah. You must be nothing but an ear which hears what the universe of the word is saying in you. The moment you hear what you yourself are saying, you must stop. You must stop. Rabbi Dov Ba'er. So, I will teach you the best way to say Torah. You must be nothing but an ear which hears what the universe of the word is saying in you. The moment you hear what you yourself are saying, you must stop. Now, Sister Elder, that is the beginning of the answer to your question of last week of where do the other vibrations come from. That is the beginning of your answer right there. And I want us to see if we can kind of figure out why that is so. So you must be nothing but an ear which hears what the universe, what the vibration is saying in you, what the vibration is creating in you. And the moment that you hear what you yourself are saying, you must stop. You must stop. So that's going to be our start point, and we're going to return back to that. So our purpose is to explore the religious consciousness which birthed Jesus. So we're really looking at what was the worldview, what was the context, what was the understanding, what were the sensibilities which Jesus kind of used to live his life and in which Jesus' life unfolded. We're stripping away all labels, all categories, all priorities that we place upon Jesus in order to uncover the religion of Jesus. So it's very important that we start from as if we know everything and build up from the ground up. And that way we'll be able to see the connection better instead of putting stuff, assuming that things must be placed onto Jesus. In order to find the religion of Jesus, we must start with the Bible of Jesus. And we talked about that Jesus preached from the Bible, but the Bible that Jesus preached from was the Torah and the Tanakh, because, the New Testament, the book that we have, was not in creation. So Jesus' Bible was the Hebrew Scriptures. And a large portion, a lot of the New Testament or the Greek Scriptures are interpretations, are appropriation of the Hebrew Scriptures. So it's hard to understand the New Testament without, or the Greek scriptures without looking at the Hebrew scriptures, because there's so much commentary in the New Testament that refers back to directly to the Hebrew scriptures. So the Bible of Jesus starts with the formation of creation. So we have this Bible of Jesus. We have the Torah. We have in the Torah. We looked at Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, and we saw that there was a vibration, there was a sound, there was a word, and that vibration went out, and that vibration began to create. So that's the fundamental religious consciousness. That's the most basic religious consciousness. And we looked at videos that's not only in the Judeo-Christian tradition, but that's also in a lot of religious consciousness, is that there was a sound, there was a word, there was a vibration, and that vibration formed, created. And that is the beginning, that is the essence of what everything is. So there was the sound, there was the word, there was the vibration. The word, the sound, the vibration forms creation. So we talked about that as we lifted up last week. There's a lifelong struggle is to be created by the vibration or reshaped by other vibrations of the created. So that is the essence of what our life is all about. Our life is all about the choice to be created by the vibration or to be reshaped by other vibrations. That is life in a nutshell. That is the scriptures in a nutshell. That is a spiritual journey in a nutshell. Which will we choose? And in this system, this is what I want us to look at for a moment, is in this system that we just talked about, the foundation of it. In this system, what is sin, and where do the other vibrations come from, or how do they exist? And that's kind of what we just touched on last week. But what is sin? We did mention that last week. And where do the other vibrations come from? Or how do they exist? So what is sin in this system that we're looking at right now?
Isn't another vibration?
Huh?
Isn't sin another vibration?
Yes, another vibration. More
More than that.
Aaron? Yeah, another vibration. That's not wrong, but what about other vibrations? Sin is.
It causes a reformation, a realignment.
Oh, okay.
Right. But what is our relationship to the other vibration?
It's
Sin
when-
is
when
when we.
Choose to realign
Exactly.
from Creator.
Respond to
Exactly. So sin simply put is when we make the decision, when we get out of alignment with the vibration and choose to realign with another vibration. So that's what sin is.
Okay.
So sin is basically ignoring, turning from, leaving the vibration to be reshaped, to be reformed by other vibrations. That is sin in this system that we're setting up. So sin is leaving the creating vibration of the Creator to be reformed by other vibrations. So sin is leaving the creating vibration of the Creator to be reformed by other vibrations. And it's just that simple. So how do other vibrations exist? How do other vibrations exist? And the perfect example that we're going to lift up, I want us to get this clear before we go into the video. Pornography is a perfect example of how the other vibrations exist. Why is that? Can anyone make that connection? Huh? Well, no. But think about it. If the body is good, if sex is good, then why is pornography bad?
Because it's animalistic.
What's that? The way it's presented? Okay, yes. Its purpose, closer.
it's captured?
How it's captured,
Because it
aroused you.
there's nothing wrong with arousal.
it reforms you from,
We what?
I'm trying to think about how it reforms you to, how it reforms you.
Yeah, I'm looking for a particular word. It's what? It's self-gratification, that's closer. Let's-
Yeah, it keeps you focused on itself as opposed to focused on the creating vibration of the creator. It keeps you focused on itself as if it is, almost like you're in a meditative state, like you're focused on the pornography or whatever it creates in you, and you're not focused on the creator or the original vibration of Christ or.
Yes,
It keeps you in a
one word, I'm looking for one word, y'all going around it.
out of alignment.
Alignment?
Other vibrations emerge when the vibration of the creator is turned to serve self.
Yeah.
I just want to succinctly just self. Just self.
That's the same thing. But he wasn't-
anything that is turned. So everything is good, everything, because there's just the one vibration. But when the one vibration is used, turned towards completely to the self, completely for the self, rather than the creator, what happens is it becomes another vibration. It becomes other vibrations. So, huh? Right, it turns in. Think about this. Well, it's hinted to. I mean, there are many. We can go out scriptures. Let's just stay in scriptures. Think about the fall of Satan. We have the fall of Satan. Why did Satan, who was an angel, who was God's right hand person, if that angel was created good, if that being was created good, then how does Satan become evil? There's nothing different from Satan than when he was good than when he was bad. What happened was that Satan he wanted to be worshipped himself.
Right. Okay.
So in that moment, the vibration of Lucifer, which was a good vibration, became another vibration because that vibration wanted to serve itself. So whenever everything, this is why the creeds and the creeds are important, because in Apostle Creed that we say every Sunday, I believe in God the Father Almighty, the Creator of heaven and earth. And the reason why that was so important in the early church is because there were groups of followers of Christ during that time, a couple hundred years after Jesus, that was saying that the creation was evil, the body was evil, and everything was evil. And then there was this theological debate about, no, that can't be right. It's good. Its good in its very nature. But what happened is that we turned it for ourselves and it became bad. But in its nature, it is good. God created everything and it was good. It was total. It was complete. So the only thing we have to, for our purposes, is the other vibrations emerge when the vibration of the Creator, which is good, which is the only thing that exists, is turned towards self, the created rather than the Creator. That's another word. Intention turns the vibration into seemingly other vibrations. So our intention that basically being consumed with ourselves, being all about us, building our own kingdom, designed to be worshipped, designed to be praised. So we make everything about us and we turn a vibration that is good and it begins to be broken up into other vibrations. And this is where the schism we get, the duality we get, that we're striving to restore. So all vibrations are good vibrations. The vibrations are good. But what breaks them up is this desire to turn it into self. So is that clear? that make sense? Okay, good. So these are just working definitions. We'll flesh this out more, particularly when we look at how Jesus incorporated this whole scheme in his life. So we're going to look at a video from, this is a TED Talk, and it's going to be very, very important that we understand the importance of silence and the relationship between the vibration and silence, and really how this will impact how you live your life, and why it's so important to be in a rhythm. So using sound as an analogy for the religion of Jesus, what role does sound play in the religion of Jesus? And this is what we're going to identify, we're going to deepen this pattern that we've been looking at so far in the scriptures. And so in the scriptures, we identify new parts of the pattern, given what we know about the vibration. But first, we're going to look at this clip, and then I want this to be the ground, the jumping off point for exploring this relationship between vibration and silence. So any questions? Are we good? Okay.
Thank you. Could I ask everybody, please, to put down your pens and pencils, and those of you upstairs to close your electronics and join me in silence. Thank you. So how did that feel? For some of you, I suspect, on this talky day, with lots of information coming at you, there was a bit of a, thank you. But for others of you, I suspect, there was some discomfort. I won't make you raise your hands, but how many of you wondered if she was just going to stand up there for the entire time of her talk and make us sit here? Because in this space, silence is not usual. Silence is something that we need to cultivate to understand ourselves and each other. Margaret Wheatley, in her wonderful book, Turning to One Another, Simple Conversations to Restore Hope to the Future, says that she suspects that the noisiness of our world today is because people are desperate to be heard. That we are in fact clamoring to be heard. I mean, have you ever been around a small child when you were busy and they wanted your attention? And it starts out a little subtly, right? Hey, 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 till you stop and pay attention. We do the same thing too, don't we? I'm in conversation with you and you do not seem to be understanding what I need you to, so I will talk louder and more vehemently because then you'll get it. Right? We get engaged and enthusiastic and we forget to listen. And one of the components that makes it possible to listen is silence. So today I'm going to ask you 3 questions for reflection and offer a couple of strategies for those of you who maybe were a little uncomfortable or maybe don't have much silence in your life to think about ways all of us could bring silence into our world so that we can, in fact, hear each other better, understand ourselves and each other. The first question, when do you have silence in your life? How many of you get in the car and turn on the radio? Raise your hand. How many of you walk into your quiet house and turn on the television? How many of you go outside into nature and plug in while you're doing something healthy? Absolutely. So here's the first strategy. Don't do that. Get in your car and turn the radio off. I know it's the only time you get to watch the news, but it's a 24-hour news cycle. It will come back. You can get that information sometime else. Quiet in your car. If you walk into a house that is empty, and for some of you that's the luxury, right? And quiet, leave the quiet. And when you go outside to be healthy, do one more healthy thing for yourself and take the earphones out. And listen to the world around you, to your own heartbeat and your own breath and your thoughts. Silence in our world. Where do you have, Margaret Wheatley also asked in her book, when have you experienced good listening? If you've had the great gift of having someone listen to you well, it is probably because they were comfortable with silence. Most of us, when we're in a conversation, right, the way we work is that you're talking to me and I am thinking about how I'm going to connect with you. What am I going to say where my story is like yours, or my story is different yours, or worse than yours, or better than yours? I might even ask you a question because I'm connected to you, but I'm busy thinking of the question and I missed the last half of your sentence and it went off somewhere else. Because I have to be ready to jump in as soon as you take breath. What if instead you didn't jump in? What if instead you paused? And maybe they had something more they needed to say. Maybe the thought that was just on the tip of their tongue would come to them in the silence that you gave them. It's very hard to do, isn't it? So a couple of strategies. If you are having this conversation over a meal, pick up your glass of water and have a drink. Just give yourself time. If you don't have that tool, take a deep breath and let it out. Be brave, maybe take 2 or 3. If they're done, they'll say, what do you think? They will give you a cue to come back into conversation. But maybe you're giving them the gift of understanding themselves as they make themselves understood to you. And third, when have you experienced silence in community? This may be the toughest one of all. Outside of our faith communities, we rarely practice silence in a group, do we? In a place like this, oh my goodness. When do you experience silence in community? I have a colleague and friend who used to work at George Fox University, which is a Quaker university. And she talks about being in a very contentious faculty meeting where people were totally polarized. They were never going to reach consensus. And the leader of the organization said, okay, we're going to take 10 minutes of silence. And I ask you to consider, is this a matter of conscience or a matter of preference? And at the end of that 10 minutes, they were able to find consensus. People had stopped to pay attention in that silence to what was important and what was not. What if we did that in a town hall meeting? Instead of everybody standing up and yelling at the people at the front of the room or at each other, what if we asked people to be silent in between speakers and reflect? What would happen then to the conversation? Even crazier, could you do it in a meeting in your workspace? Could you make a space for silence in the meetings that you have that are contentious? Okay, I'm going to give you a strategy for this one. You're going to think it's hokey. It became a bit of a cliche. It's called a talking piece. A talking stick, right? Around the circle, use a talking stick. But a talking piece doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can pick it up off your table at work and say, the only person that can talk right now is the person who's holding the pen. And everybody else needs to listen. And when that person is done, everybody waits for just a little, and then someone else can have the pen. Or the coaster, or whatever it is. The piece is not magic, but the impact is. What would happen in your contentious meetings if everybody could be comfortable with silence and actually listen to what it is I care about so that I can explain it to you. And then I listen to what you care about as you explain it to me. Our work environments would change, wouldn't they? Is there a way that you can think about silence? Is there a way that you can practice silence and become comfortable enough that you can share it with others? Back to Margaret Wheatley's comment. Our world has gotten so loud that perhaps the reason we're plugging in, as Steve talked about, is to shut out that discord. But in fact, what we need to do is let it in and really listen and understand. And so my challenge to you today, my be bold thought, is can you go home and practice silence? Can you give someone the gift of listening by being silent? Can you find a way to bring silence to your community so that actually the talking, the words, are truly understood? Because it is through silence and listening that we can understand ourselves and each other. And it seems to me that that's something our world needs today. Thank you very much.
Now, there's one essential point that I want you to get in reference to our lesson. And I'm going to just tell you. So it is that in order for listening, in order for understanding to take place, silence has to be present. There can be no speaking, there can be no understanding unless silence is present. So silence is absolutely foundational for understanding to take place. So, and this is going to lead us into our discussion about the relationship between the vibration and silence. So we have a vibration, we have the creation starts, there's a word, there's a sound, there's a voice, there's a vibration. That vibration, that voice, that sound goes out and forms creation. Everything is formed from that vibration. There is order. And the whole struggle in life is whether we will align with the vibration of the Creator or be reshaped by the other vibrations in the world. And we looked at Genesis, the very beginning, and Genesis talks about how God created, God said, God spoke into existence, there was order. Then we have the serpent, and the serpent said, that is not so. Different voice, different vibration, different words. And Adam and Eve aligned themselves with that other voice, that other vibration, and became reshaped. And that is the fundamental struggle that we see in scriptures. There's the choice of being aligned with the vibration of the Creator, the creating vibration, or to be reshaped, be reformed by the other vibrations. And that struggle is all throughout the scriptures. But now we're going to look at another piece of this pattern in order to understand the wisdom of Jesus. So the scriptures identify new parts of the pattern. We're going to identify new parts of the pattern given what we know about the vibration. So let's go. You ready? All right. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And it goes on to talk about how God said, God spoke into existence. Thus, so God goes through creating. Chapter 2, thus the heavens and the earth and all the hosts of them were finished. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all of his work which he had done. And then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all of his work which God had created and made. You see the pattern? In the pattern, in the beginning, there was void, without form, emptiness, nothingness, silence. From silence, there was a voice, there was a sound, there was a vibration. Order comes into existence. And then after, from the silence, from the void, and then the vibration which creates, and then after creation is done, what happens? After creation is done, there is Sabbath. And what is Sabbath? Sabbath is a return to silence. Sabbath is a return to silence. Let's go through the significance of 6, 7, and 8. Sabbath is a return to the silence which birthed the vibration of creation. We're going to go over it again. We're going to go over it again. I'm going to have diagrams and everything. But in summary, there was a void, there was silence, and from the silence came a voice, came a sound, came a vibration. That vibration formed everything. The creation was made, and then after the creation was made, there was rest. There was silence again. And that is the pattern. Silence, creation, a return back to silence, which leads us back into creation. We're going to go over it. We're going to go over it. We're going to go a couple times, in a couple different ways. So, the significance of 6, 7, and 8. So, in the beginning, what was what? 0, void, silence. In the beginning was silence. 6 is the number of creation. 6 daily bread. So, in 6 days, God created. So, the order was made. Okay? 7, completion through silence and stillness. So, 0, 6, 7, Sabbath, which is rest, stillness, silence. Why? So that we can begin the process of creation again. So 8 is the number of new beginning, but 8 is really just the number 1 because it starts the process all over again. And in the biblical understanding of the rhythm of life, this is all there is. There is a silence which you can never capture, you can never understand. And from that silence there comes a word, there comes a sound, there comes a vibration, which creates, which puts things in order. And then in order to reconnect with that vibration, we must be silent, we must be still, because that silence and stillness will reconnect us to the vibration, which leads us back into the next season for our life, the next creating season for our life. So what happens is we have completely and utterly lost the profound significance of the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day is not simply about not doing something or doing something. It's way more profound. It's even beyond going to church. The Sabbath day is about reconnecting to the vibration which created you. Because if you can never reconnect to the vibration which created you, you can never start the next season that God has for you. Mm-hmm. So what happens is we were all birthed from the silence. We were all birthed from the vibration, and God created us and God ordered us. And what happened is we believed that we were going to just keep on living a life of creation. What is that? 6, 6, 6. Over and over again. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Because a life of 6, 6, 6 is a life of I never have time to stop. I never have time to be still. I never have time to rest. And therefore I can never get to 7 because 7 reconnects me, completes me to the vibration which formed me. So if I can never get to 7, if I can never be still, if I can never return to the silence that started the creation, what happens is that I can never reconnect with God and get aligned with that vibration in preparation for the next thing that God has for me. I can never get to 8. I can never get back to 1 because I'm on 6, 6, 6 all the time. Are you with me? Jason?
I think about the work week, 5 days a week. you have Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm.
I'm thinking if you're going in the direction I think you're going with this, as an example, the next season will be the next week in a sense. So, not to say that's definite, but kind of an example. The following week, let's say, this is this week, the next week will be the following season. Within those 5 days, or those 6 days, whatever goes on, good or bad, the processing of God communicate with you. I mean, we're supposed to communicate through those days, regardless of the 7 days. The 7 days is more the relying and really gathering and communicating with them. I would think with the most ideal communication. But let's say there are things that you're going through and you're praying God, you're asking God about the outcome of this thing you're praying about. And you keep going, like you said, 666, and you're missing 7. You're never hearing him give you your answer.
That's right. That's right.
So, with that being said, by you giving him that 7th day, he can give you the answer for that week, for that season of that week, and then give you an understanding of what's going to happen the following week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's what we look at. Yeah. But I mean, but we can. Yes, sir. Good. Okay. I see them all. All right. So yes, I mean, but keep in mind that really, this is a rhythm that it can be a month, it can be a year, it can be or it can be a week.
it could be even a day.
Yeah, that's right. It can be a day.
True.
But the point is that we have to be sensitive that this is the fundamental spiritual rhythm which formed Jesus' consciousness. Point blank. That's what we have to understand. That's what's important. And so there was silence, there was creation, and then there was stillness and a Sabbath, which returns us to the birthing, silence, and stillness. And it's so important because this if we never get here, we can never really get in touch with the next thing that God has for us, whether it be the insight, the season, the place, the whatever. And we stay on 6 because we feel like if we just keep on doing it, then it will happen. But it's not happening because we have refused to be silent and still. Because the silence and stillness is where the happening comes from. It's where the happening comes from. The vibration comes from silence. So if you never stop and be still, then you'll never get back to the thing which created the vibration.
So I'd say Moses would be a good example of that.
Oh, you getting ahead of me? I got Moses in here. Okay, so you with me on this?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Let's go come about Genesis model. We have 0, void, goes to creation, goes to Sabbath. So 0, 1 through 6, 7, goes back to 0. Void, silence, goes back to creation, Sabbath again. And this is the rhythm. Void, creation, Sabbath. Void, creation, Sabbath. So this is the Genesis model that we can look at. This is one model. We have the void. We have now. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the void. We have the void. From the void comes creation. From creation and after creation we rest. And that returns us back to the void. That returns us back to the silence. Okay, so that's the Genesis model. We have the vibration and silence. This is the basic model. So there's Sabbath, there's creating life-giving work. Sabbath, true rest, true stillness always leads us into creating life-giving work. And then from creating life-giving work, we go back into Sabbath, and then Sabbath leads us back into creating life-giving work. The reason why some of us get stuck in ruts and we feel like, what we're doing is not meaningful, what we're doing is not significant, what we're doing is not fulfilling, is because we've never taken Sabbath in the deeper sense of where we never really spent time in introspection, in silence, in stillness to reconnect us to the vibration, to reconnect us to the life-giving vibration, because the vibration is what makes our activity meaningful. The vibration is what makes our activity meaningful. And if we can never connect to the vibration, if we never practice Sabbath, then we can never connect to the vibration. So Sabbath, creating life in the work, Sabbath, creating life in the work. So that's the pattern. That's another model we can look at. Silence, creating vibration. Silence, creating vibration. Silence. It's the same thing, just I'm just giving it to you in different ways. It's another way. Silence leads to creating vibration leads to silence, and it keeps on going like that. And that's how we stay in the rhythm. That's how we stay connected to the Creator. You still with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is the opposite of it. What happens is that we align ourselves with there's these other vibrations. Remember these vibrations that are going out into the world, which are the vibrations of the Creator, which are turned toward the created, which are turned toward self. Okay? So these reformative vibrations, we align ourselves with those reformative vibrations, and then we are reformed, we are reshaped. And not only are we reshaped, we are reformed, we are reshaped, and because we are reformed and we reshaped, we begin to produce vibrations of noise. And vibrations of noise go out. Reformative vibrations of noise go out, and we begin to perpetuate the same chaos that shaped us. So, huh? Okay, let me finish it. So remember they're the small vibrations, right? And we align ourselves with those small vibrations, then we're reshaped, we're reformed, and then we begin to give off those same vibrations, small vibrations that have shaped us. We begin to give off that same noise, and we begin to shape and reform. And this is how the small vibrations, the negative vibrations continue. And this is interesting. The only thing that can break this is silence. The only thing that can break this is Sabbath. Sabbath is way more significant than just a day. It is the force which basically realigns us with the Creator. It's the force which realigns us with the Creator. And the only thing that can break this is Sabbath. And so we have people that are bombarded by these negative vibrations, and then they begin to give off those same negative vibrations, which begin to shape the environment in negative ways, and it goes on and on and on. And the only thing that can break that is silence. And silence, and not just in the literal sense, but I'm silent in the sense of void, returning back to the because that returns us back to the vibration. Okay, Jason. Martin. Go.
So, you know this about me. But some of the diagrams you left off the void.
What do you mean? Where?
Right there.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just explaining this to you in different ways.
Okay.
These are just models. These are models for understanding. Yeah. So I mean, this is like I said. This is the biblical way of looking at it.
Okay.
So this is the biblical way of looking at it. This model is more the rhythm that we should be getting into. Sabbath, creating life, in work, Sabbath, So it's just different ways of saying the same thing.
Okay.
That answer your question? Okay. Jason.
I was going to say was your example of the negative vibes, in the sense imitating the worldly ways of the world, being influenced by the world and doing what the world does. That's pretty much all I was
Yeah, exactly. Being influenced by the world, but when we're reshaped by the world, we then become a part of that vibration. We begin to give off that vibration. We begin to create. We begin to reshape others because we have been reshaped. So, and the only thing that can break this is Sabbath. The only thing that can break this is silence. So let's look at some other models. So Moses, you right on point. Vibration is silence. Moses encountered with the bush. Then Moses said to God, indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to you? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Moreover, God said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob has sent me to you, and this is my name forever, and this is my memorial to all generations. So we're going to go to a different model now, okay? Moses is being formed by the voice, by the vibration, taking off shoes, preparing for the journey to Egypt, preparing his words. He's literally being created. Moses inquires into the source of the vibration. Vibration cannot be penetrated. Why? Because the silence of the void can never be understood. So Moses must be still, trusting in the midst of the unknowability of the vibration. And only through trust and stillness and silence, in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of unknowability, can Moses move to his new season. 8:1. 8:1. Let me put this in the Bible for you. I am speaks. Moses is created. Moses rests in I am, but Moses can only rest in I am once he understands that I am can never be penetrated, because silence can never be captured. The source of the voice, there is nothing that can, God is just a label, God is just a title. We'll talk. We'll get there. We're leading up to it. Okay, so I am. It can't be penetrated. The void, the silence is the beginning point. And then you have creation. And then you have Moses resting in the fact that God is who God is. God is who God is. And when Moses does that, he can return, he can rest in that, and he can be created. So it's the same thing, it's just put in different words. So, but I am speaks, Moses is created, literally created, because he's made a new person to enter into Egypt to accomplish his task. And then he has to rest in the fact of who God is, and not knowing everything about God, not understanding everything about how everything's going to work out. He has to just rest and be still in what he has and what God has given him.